These are various clasps and buttons. Uh, they're called black japanned. Japan was a type of enamelling. I have been told by a metal worker exactly what it involves, but this is fake japanning. It was necessarily, it's a black enamel. Japanning itself was a specific way of treating metal, but basically it's black enamel on steel. That is a male and that is a female. Not the same size, this is very slightly smaller than this one, but they fit together like that. And because you've got 3 slots, you can take up the adjustment. Now, when they finally invented eyelets on boots, the clasp trade tried to have eyelets banned, because it basically meant that these weren't nearly as good an idea, because you can get much more adjustment with an eyelet. The problem was with an eyelet was that they always used to tear and pull, but when they invented metal eyelets to go in the holes, these lost their advantage. And the other thing about these is that you've only got an adjustment over the arch, and it's quite a narrow adjustment, so you can't, for made to measure, it's not such a problem, but if you're making to sell, you can't cover such a wide variety of sizes with the styles that fit this. Now these are smaller child's female ones. There's a little one there and a small one there, so they're not always the same shape. Sometimes they're rather nice, sometimes they're square. That tends to be more or less the smallest, and that's about 2 sizes from the biggest. But these are buttons. They were for, you could use them on a Welsh slipper, you could use them on a 1 or 2 piece button boot, basically a sandal, and they're instead of buckles. And they're 2 piece. You only have one of them on each shoe, so you don't have them clipping together. You have a hole in the strap, or several holes in the strap, and you have this little bollard, which is slightly chamfered, so it tends to hold the leather. Leather doesn't come off it. Now the reason they're offset is you can have a Sam Browne stud, which is basically a bollard with a nail going through the bottom of it. You put it on the leather, you put a lot of strain on it, it goes sideways, it bends, and the strap tends to come off it. But because this bollard is offset from the clip, this can't bend without this coming up, and this is being pulled that way, and it doesn't want to come up. So that's why they've got this shape. Now this particular one is shaped in sort of oak leaf shape, and I've got about 4 different boxes, and they've all got different shapes on them, and they're different lengths. So if you did only have a small number of holes, or only 1 hole on the strap, and you wanted to take up the stretch, you could put a shorter one on to get them tight again. But I didn't have these for years. I used to make lots and lots of button sandals, clog sandals, and then I ran out, and I didn't have them for about 7 or 8 years, and then I managed to get hold of 4 boxes from an old supplier up north, and I think I've sold 2 pairs ever since. Well, I used to be quite good looking when I was younger, and I used to sell to lots of girls, and now I'm old and ugly, I tend to sell to lots of blokes. And I think that's got more to do with it than anything else, actually.